At first glance, you wouldn't think anything was out of the ordinary with Megan and Chloe Horn, but Megan has had type 1 diabetes since 2011. Her daily routine is a cycle of finger pricks, insulin injections, and carb counting. When she was diagnosed, the Horn family life changed.
It was like a flick of a switch. There was no build-up to it. She was suddenly living with, in effect, a disabled child. But a lot of people wouldn't recognise she's disabled because she runs around, looks perfectly normal, but she needs constant attention and awareness because at any point she could fall over, have a hypo, and do herself some serious damage, go into a coma. She doesn't look like there's any problems, which almost makes it worse because people don't appreciate the impact that it could have.
The regime we were on at the time was very strict with 2 injections a day, so she had to have a set time for breakfast, 10 carb snack at mid-morning, set time for lunch, 10 carb snack at mid-afternoon, set time for tea. And we weren't like that as a family. We were, very much let's just go with the flow. With a 1-year-old as well, sort of trying to cope with trying to feed a 1-year-old and also do all of these other things that you had to get used to very, very quickly, because it's not a case of, oh yeah, you can get used to it in 3 or 4 weeks' time. We'll then introduce this. It's, you've got to do it now because she will die if you don't do it.
Diabetes has 2 types. Type 1 is autoimmune, the body actively stopping its ability to produce insulin, whereas type 2 means the body builds up a resistance to the hormone. A person with either type has their life expectancy shortened by 15 years, and there is a risk of other problems.
So this is the vial of insulin.
Prior to getting a pump, Megan would require up to 170 injections per month. Now, her pump means that she needs an average of 12. Life is made easier with the device, which injects insulin into Megan's blood at programmed times, but her family still have to be watchful and still have to cope with the reality of what Megan's childhood will be like.
I think you grieve the innocence of childhood has gone because she could never again just go out and play and forget about everything. She, from that age of just turned 5 years old, has to be listening to her body and thinking about, has she got equipment with her? Does she feel okay? Does she need to have a snack? Does she have to stop what she's doing to test her finger? It's really sad at that point to think that that sort of complete carefree life has disappeared.
I think it feels like you just don't want to have it and you want to give it on to someone else because it doesn't feel very nice.
Over the course of time, we've got some very good friends and parents who will have her for a few hours and do know what to do, but we're always on call. When we go to the cinema and they say turn your phones off, we don't turn the phones off because we can't, because whoever she's with for those few hours may need to get us because anything could be happening to her. So we're always on call. We never kind of leave the diabetic world.
Megan and her family are active in raising awareness of the disease. Besides giving interviews and speaking to university students, they are a part of the Seahawks group for the condition, as well as the Ferrum Diabetes group, which raises awareness and provides support for people with diabetes.
To the parents of children with diabetes, it's going to be hard to manage their child's diabetes, but on the other hand, it's going to be so worthwhile because there are lots of adults now who are very successful in their lives who have had diabetes since a very young age.
Megan has to adapt her life around diabetes. Clothes bought for her have to be able to fit her pump. She has to test her blood sugar before each meal or activity, but her parents are always helping her. Even sister Chloe is on hand, drawing for her whenever she has low blood sugar. For a young girl of 9 years, she's mature enough to see the positive side.
It's good that people think about me in ways that sometimes other diabetic people don't get treated like that, because people at school are very good. You just have to live with it, and sometimes I have my bad days, sometimes I have my good days. Just how it's meant to be.